It's 2014 and really there's no way around it. You really need to know about and use GitHub. Why? Well, it's a social network that's completely changed the way we work. It started as a platform for developers to share code and ideas, but is now the largest online storage space of collaborative work. When you access GitHub, you're free to download, study and build upon anything that's already there. This is my GitHub homepage, github.com demo programming, and Git tutorials is my first repository, or repo in Git speak. Code is held in a repository, or repo, which is just a storage space or directory. We'll be taking the project Git tutorials and loading it up into Eclipse, where you can study, run, modify the code as much as you like. We'll also have the added benefit that any future changes that are checked into GitHub, at a click of a mouse button you'll be able to update your Eclipse environment as well. So how do we get a Java project from GitHub into our Eclipse environment? Well, I'll show you how. Just fire up your Eclipse environment. I'm happy to use Spring Tool Suite or STS. It's based on Eclipse 4.3. So whichever Eclipse environment you have, just fire that up now. Now we need to check to see if there's a plugin in your Eclipse environment called EGit. EGit is based on the JGit library. JGit is a library which implements the Git functionality for Java. So click on Help, go to About, and then you'll see a row of icons. This will be the same in your Eclipse environment if you're not using Spring Tool Suite. And look for the cup of coffee with some green plus and minus signs in there. Hover over that, click on it, Eclipse EGit. That's great, so no additional installation is required. I'll show the basic steps if you don't have EGit installed. It's fairly straightforward. Just go to Help, install new software, and at this point you'll need a URL for the update site, which happens to be downloads at eclipse.org EGit updates. Set the Eclipse team provider and install from there. I already have this installed on STS, so I won't go ahead with that. Okay, to summarise so far, we have an Eclipse based environment with EGit installed. Now to make EGit work properly, we need to check we have a home environment variable set to our user profile. To get the environment variables dialog box up in Windows 7, just go to the Start menu and type in environment, and this dialog box will pop up. Now I don't have a home variable, so I'm just going to click New and enter Home. And for the actual value, it's going to be %, user profile, another %, and OK that. And now I've got the home variable set for my user profile, pointed to the directory for my user profile, and OK that. Before we go any further, I'd just like to show you where the setup configuration parameters are for Git within Eclipse. If you go to Windows menu, Preferences, and then scroll down the Preferences to Team, expand that up, you'll find the Git subfolder there. Open that up. One property we need to check or change is the default repository folder. This tells EGit where your local repository lives, and it's important and good practice to keep that separate from your Eclipse workspace. Although you can have them together, it's good practice to keep them separate. So if you ever decide to delete and reinstall the repository, you can do quite easily without affecting Eclipse. And I use my user profile as the root. Then I have another folder, projects, courses, tutorials, where I actually keep the repository for that specific thing. EGit allows you to configure your default user and email address for a commit. And to set that up, just head over to configuration. Then you'll see user settings, and you can add an entry. So add a new entry, it's user.name, and type in your name. In my case it's Bruce. Hit OK. Add another entry to add the user email. So add your email in there. Hit OK. And hit OK. Now Eclipse Git has been configured, you're ready to clone your first repo for Eclipse to use. But remember first, a clone is just a local copy of the original repo. In this case we'll use Git tutorials. Let's head over to the clone URL here, and you see it highlights copy to clipboard. Just click on that and that will copy the URL into your clipboard. and then all we need to do is paste that into Eclipse. The question is, how do we get the URI we copied from GitHub into EGit within Eclipse? Fairly straightforward. Go to the Windows menu and Show View, scroll down to Other. Within the Other dialog, scroll down to the Git folder, and within the Git folder you've got Git repositories. Select that and hit OK. Within the Git repositories you have three options, or three menus. Click on Clone a Git repository, and within there clone URI. Next. Location is pre-populated, we've just copied that into the clipboard. Authentication, we only want read access for GitHub, so we leave that blank for now. Just another note on projects, I always have this tag checked, import all existing projects after clone is finished. That basically takes all the projects from your repository and it installs them into the package explorer within Eclipse. Finish that. And there we have it. Git repositories, we now have Git tutorials, and in package explorer we have the Git sample code. We can now run this as any other Java code. I use Maven, so a quick Maven update project. And do a clean. And install. Don't worry about this too much, I'll be running a Maven course fairly soon. That leaves us really just to run the main class. Hello world. Code held in GitHub repository. Next I'll be showing how to update your new project in Eclipse if there are any changes on GitHub. All we need to do is go to the project, right click, head down to team and then fetch from upstream. And as you can see we now have a down arrow and a 1. That means basically there's been one commit and it's been downloaded into our local repository. We need to accept that change, and all we need to do is right click, team, and then merge. And there we have it, we've now merged up. What that means is that our local repository is now again in sync with the repository on GitHub. So double click on Hello World. Oh, I see, we've got a new message there. So that's just a quick introduction to GitHub and how to load a Java project from GitHub into Eclipse. If you'd like more tutorials on EGit, please like this video or drop me a line or email at denofprogramming.com. Thanks very much for watching.